Welcome to Vinnies Talk. Like the video. As y'all come into the video, like it. What's up to all my wolfers? What's up, y'all? Welcome to Vinnies Talk. Vinnies Talk. Vinnies Talk. What's up, guys? What's up, guys, and welcome to Vinnies Talk. How's everybody feeling today? Welcome to the party. To the cast, all my wolfers out there, what's up? Get it going. What's up, guys, and welcome to Vinnies Talk. All right. We're back up in the booth here with another podcast. We are talking about the Idaho 4 on this cold night, man. It's your boy Vinny D, the Young Wolf. Go ahead and like, subscribe to the video. Everybody coming into the video, welcome you guys to Vinnies Talk. A lot of things going on in the Idaho 4 investigation. We have learned a lot of new things. A lot of new things cycling the internet streets, right? Once again, I just want to say welcome to Vinnies Talk. These are just my opinions and my thoughts and theories, guys. Supposedly, allegedly, there was screams coming from the house of the 4 victims that had brutally murdered. There was screams supposedly that a neighbor had heard, right? So we're gonna take a look at some video footage from Inside Edition. The house of the tragically brutally murdered supposedly heard it, and then he said that at first he was saying that he didn't hear it. This Cook dude here. We're gonna take a look at some footage because yeah. So I'm not understanding this correctly. So this guy supposedly is a neighbor close by in the apartments. He said he got home at around 1:30 in the morning. At first he said that he didn't think that it was something that he heard. He just ignored it. And then later on he went back and reported it to the law enforcement, saying that it was screams. So that's very interesting. Okay, we're gonna take a look at this, y'all. All right. All right, let's take a look. All right, we're gonna take a look at this this footage here, the latest of some supposedly of a neighbor hearing a scream. And now, if the neighbor truly did hear a scream, why didn't he say it to the law enforcement the first time he supposedly heard the screams, where he said that he didn't know, and now he did know? Little weird, if you ask me. A little weird. But let's watch this little segment here. All right.
We're learning the house where 4 University of Idaho students were murdered was party central. Police logs show cops were called to the house twice in one night in September over noise complaints. According to neighbors, there were loud gatherings most weekends involving 15 to 20 guests gathered in the backyard at the fire pit. One neighbor says she routinely had to wear earplugs to go to bed. News Nation's anchor Ashley Banfield is following the case.
If this killer had been in that house before as a friend or a partier, they would know the unusual layout of that house. They would know where the back entrance is, the front entrance is, the locks on the doors, the stairs. They'd have a pretty easy time getting in and, more importantly, getting out unnoticed.
And now a neighbor who lives near the house says he heard a woman screaming the night of the murders. 30-year-old Enon Harsh, a chef, says he thinks he heard the scream at around 4 a.m., but he quickly dismissed it as noise coming from a party. I didn't think anything of it. After what happened, I've definitely had second thoughts. Maybe it was not a party sound. And police are still looking for that white 2011 to 2013 Hyundai Elantra seen near the house the night of the murders. U.S. Border Patrol agents are monitoring Canadian border crossings for the mystery car. What's the significance of this car?
The significance of the car is we know it was there. We know we haven't spoken to who was in that car, who may have owned that car, and we need to speak to them. We know that that person could really have the information we need to break the case.
Interesting to hear that, because this supposed dude named Ian Harsh was a cook or something for some. Anyway, he got home at a certain time. I think he said about 1 or something like that. And he said he heard it. He didn't hear anything, right? Well, later on, he rethought about it, and all of a sudden he's decided that he heard something. Now that's the interesting thing to me, guys, is that if he could have heard something, and he across the way in the apartment, right? Those apartments there on the side. If he supposedly heard something, he was in a different building, then this gives a whole nother insight of how come the 2 roommates that were living in the house that survived this attack, how come they didn't hear anything, right? We hear a lot about this, they might have had the music on, they might have did this is why they didn't hear, but they were in the same building, y'all, right? So this gets my mind thinking okay, there is a possibility. So this just opens up the door for more speculation, right? Now we know that the 2 roommates survived. We know that the killer supposedly went through the first, this is just allegedly, went through the first floor before he went to the 3rd floor. Did he really need to go upstairs, though? That's the thing. Haven't caught him. The police are working hard right now, guys. And I believe that they do want to, they are using all their power and expertise in this case, but they haven't really seen something like this in a long time, I believe, you guys. And I believe that this is something that is very new, because this is hard, man, dealing with someone who just committed 4 murders, right? Justice for their souls, man. But just opens up more doors, and we're learning about the white car, right? The Hyundai Elantra, which the police believe that there was people in there, right? Occupants of the vehicle, that they might have seen something, and anything that could be important to this investigation, like tips and stuff. They believe that they can help the police, and the police are looking for this vehicle, guys. So we still have that to deal with. And now we hearing about this Harsh dude and how he supposedly didn't think about it. He didn't think about hearing screams. He just thought maybe it was something, because they're set to have parties. Watching this Inside Edition video, they're set to have parties. And a lot of people over all the time, so it's regular to hear things of that nature. Now, and another thing I have issue with is the Sigma Chi frat university, you guys. The hours between 8 and 9, and the hours also between 9 and 1:45 of the arrival time of all four of victims, right? Kaylee and Maddie were set to be at the corner club, left the corner club, went to the grub truck. We watched that video. We did review on that video. I also might take a look at the grub truck video once again, because you can't just go back and, there's always stuff that you'll miss, and recapping it is always a good thing sometimes, guys. But we learned that of this Jack dude and how he was following them around, how the behavior was all off and everything. But they left there, and it literally took 5 to 6 minutes to get from that grub truck to the residence of which they were slain, right? Now, there was a little segment in there where I was just watching the grub truck and watching the people. And like I said, man, we don't like to point fingers. We will try to keep it factual, but these are just my opinions and my thoughts, guys. But I really thought that dude his behavior was off. Like, he was following Kaylee and Maddie around. Kaylee was the first one up there ordering her food. And I seen another YouTube video. It was very, very sentimental, very, honestly, very emotional to see Kaylee saying that she would share her food with Maddie. And they were sharing their moment, right? Their last moment, eating together and enjoying their time before they were brutally murdered, right? So to see that video, and guys, you got to remember, this was their last moments alive down there by that grub truck. So we got the grub truck incident, right? Then we got the frat incident. There's so many little side stories going on. It's like there's little side stories plus the murder in itself. So in order to investigate this, it's like you have to investigate this story. What happened in this story to connect it to this story. Everything seems to have a little connection. Just like the levels in the house. Connections, levels. So when we take a look at everything, and I put my personal opinion on it, the more I was thinking that this was just a random killing. It very well could be both, but at the end of the day, it can only be one thing. So I just see it as very passionate. Someone had to know the layout of this house, guys. I just feel it. I mean, justice for Kaylee, justice for Maddie, Ethan, and Xana, right? The same way that I would feel like this killer would make his way in the house, right? And a lot of people think that the way he came in, is the same way he left, correct? But I'm not sure, man. I don't know. It seems a little sketchy. It all seems really fucked up, right? Excuse my language, but it's very messed up. So going back to the screams from the supposed neighbor across the way in the apartments, it just makes me think that if he could hear something, right? If he could hear something, then the two roommates had to hear something. And I don't care if you're partying. I don't care if you're drunk, if you're buzzed. You have this thing called a conscience, right? And I believe that even if it wasn't something that they thought it was suspicious, they still had to hear some type of a screaming. If and so this is very factual, and they actually did hear people screaming, right? Now, I'm not saying that I heard it. I'm just telling you guys what I've read in reports and seen in other videos and putting my opinion on it, right? So if that's the case, and there actually was screams, then why wasn't it reported before? Why was it a type of report where it's just like, okay, now that I think about it, it was screaming. Well, maybe people come to their senses and they're just like, okay, yeah, now this is what it is. But also there was another thing that this person had said that he's seen, a black SUV, right? But there was no mention into a black SUV that was parked outside. I keep seeing cars out there. I'm looking like, oh shit, what's going on out there? No, there was no mention of this black SUV. All we're talking about is this Hyundai white Elantra. It seems like everybody's driving a Elantra, right? My cousin's driving one. Your dad's driving one. So, like I said, man, with this investigation, it's little side stories. I feel like that in order to learn and to actually solve this tragic murder, man, there's so many different side stories that the police have to investigate. And we have a serial killer or just any killer out there, whether it's targeted, whether this is a targeted attack, which it very hell it seems like to me that it's very personal. This person had to be, I just feel like this person had maybe felt like he had gotten done wrong from somebody in that house or something like that. So that's why I feel like it's very personal. But either way, like I said, if it's targeted or not targeted, y'all, we still have a crazy killer out there. And I just feel like, man, they need to catch this dude because whoever this person is needs to be caught because he's definitely capable of doing some crazy shit like this again. Because there's no evidence of it actually saying that it's specifically factual targeted, but that's what the police tell us. You know, I know that they're trying to bring the best and work the hardest at this case, but it just doesn't seem like a lot of people are able to trust them. And through the darkest hours, right, half of the people trust police and then half of them don't. But it's just like all the stuff that they're giving us makes us kind of feel a little off about it. And the community of Idaho is just like, especially Moscow, they're down there, you know, they're learning about all these different stories. And then mind you, the side stories, the 911 call in the field with the police, you know, the teenagers were supposedly, no, they were not teenagers, 20 years old. The police didn't really think that had anything to do with the murders, but still the 911 call from the frat to that field, you know, and then you have all this other side stuff going on at the fraternity. Was there a fight that most likely went down or some type of argument? It could have been. We don't know. These things are there's nothing that has based on facts that we know about that fraternity. But I'm just saying Sigma Chi, something might have went down. I just feel it in my bones. You know, something could have went down. Or you could say someone had followed Kaylee and Maddie from the corner club. Because the corner club, it seemed like, yeah, it might have been a nice place and all this stuff, but there might have been someone out there looking for Kaylee and Maddie. And like we all speculate about this dude, Jack. Yeah, he could be a suspect or whatnot. Or maybe he's just innocent. His behavior in the video, though, it just, the way he was moving around makes me think that he's a little suspicious. And who the hell knows? It could just very well be the nature in our ages, man. Once we're in college, people start acting different. People start acting like a normal kid. I mean, you're coming out your shell a little bit when you're in college. You're trying to have fun, just like you seen Kaylee and Maddie on video. That was last moments of them down there by the grub truck, you know, and you know, it's very sad because those were the last moments, you guys, of them. And then, like I said, from that grub truck, from that location, takes like literally 5 to 6 minutes to drive back to that house. So I don't know, man. I believe that this is a passion of crime, some type of passion of crime, in my own personal opinion. And somehow I feel like these girls must have either they felt or whoever was responsible for this felt like they were. Someone in that house did something bogus to them, and they took, I don't know, man, but to me, that's just crazy. I need some water, guys. And I don't know, when you pace it all together, there's so many different side stories. And then I also think about how these killings, how they happen, right, in your mind, like in your own opinion. How did that person leave the house without leaving blood trail, right? If it was just one person committing 4 murders, if you think about it, guys, 4 murders, a lot of blood. No evidence of a blood trail. Who knows? The police aren't really releasing too much information, but we didn't see no blood. The only blood that we allegedly was blood was on the side of the house, correct? But you got to only imagine this person he had to be covered in blood. And honestly, that's just my own opinion on it. Everybody has their different take. But if you really deep think and you're just like, wow, dude, like, you think about it, these girls are very photogenic, and then you have that sliding door, that little, where the fire pit is, and that little patio spot where he easily could have crept in through that slider. But then it makes me think that this location where the sliding door in the second floor was very lit up, like a Christmas tree, I would say, right? Like a Christmas tree was very lit up. So would someone want to risk it and going through that door being seen? Now, I don't know if that's the case, but it could be, or it could just be somewhere in like the back of the house, like that window was popped off. But I don't know, man. I believe that one of the doors might have had to be open because they're saying that there was no signs of forced entry here. So yeah, I don't know about that. But I'm just thinking now that I'm learning about all this new news about potentially screams, if it's true, and how supposed people crossed away there in that apartment to the left. Maybe I can understand why now, because if they did hear screams, it was screams from Maddie's room, because that's the closest to the apartments. If and indeed it's been confirmed that it's Maddie's room, Kaylee and Maddie were killed in her room. And that apartment is not too far off the line. It's literally, right there, a few steps over. But if another person in another building, like I said, another building can hear the supposed screams, then I can only imagine that even the two roommates said they didn't hear. But I don't know, man. So it's all a little strange to me. And like I said, no one, and I have to say this, the law enforcement says to the reporters that we've cleared people, but if you take a look at when investigative things, and they investigate things that are done and all this other stuff, and homicide investigations, when investigations are being performed and done, just because they tell you guys that people are cleared, you're never cleared until you are ruled out, until this crime has been served and solved, right? Solved and served, and justice has been brought to the victims of this crime. So just because they say, well, this person's ruled out, this person is ruled out, in the eyes of law enforcement and the factual based stuff is that you could always be brought back in according to evidence brought forward. So if they bring some evidence type from DNA results, stuff of that nature, forensics will show that there's DNA there, so they will bring that back, and they will be like, okay, now this person, just because he was ruled out, now we have this proof, now we're going to bring him back in. And like I said, man, when I hear reporters and all these people saying that, he's cleared, he's been cleared, no, he or she has not been cleared until this investigation has been solved, especially if there's evidence brought forward. So that's definitely something that people have to realize as well. And like I said, man, there's so many different ways people think about this case, and I keep thinking over it and want to keep recapping things, because this is all like learning curve for me, especially breaking news. This has happened, breaking news. But breaking news, where is the killer? That's what I want to hear. Where are we going to find the killer? Why do we, I mean, these are little clues, but the breaking news needs to be, we need to bring justice for these kids, man. And honestly, there's a killer out there right now, and he could strike again. That's what I'm saying. There needs to be, I feel like they need to post like posters, man. Forget about, like, I know they're thinking about the money. I know they're thinking about the colleges, right? They're thinking about the future. This is the future of this university. So I understand that point, guys. I understand that perspective of it, but they need to be bringing posters and And everybody at that fraternity, right? And I know there was some things said about the president of the Sigma Chi University, right? He didn't really want to say too much. They got him on a short circuit, right? They don't want him talking. And we understand that to an extent, but there's 4 people that are not here no more. So there definitely needs to be more action taken. I feel like that's just in my own personal opinion, y'all. But so we still learning about a lot of things, guys. And I'm going to be bringing you updates on Vinnies Talk. You know, welcome you guys. If you guys are just joining, welcome. I just want to hop on here a few minutes, 10, 15, 20, make it 30. No, I'm just talk for a few. You know, the crazy thing about this case is too that they searching the borders for this Hyundai Elantra, guys. They searching the borders. The police chief has warned the city that there could be another killing, man. He's warning the city of Moscow and Idaho that we're saying some shit could pop off, that this killer may strike again. That's what I'm saying, man. These little stories, these little side stories, they need to come to some type of grips with them, try to figure them out. I know they're very hard, but the police are saying that this killer could strike again. They're saying surrounding these murders. Now we know that they're going to be having these big events on the weekend, the graduation, the winter graduation, all these things, and a lot of police presence. But it's crazy that they are warning for another, that this killer may strike again. Could we have a possible serial killer on our hands? This could be very well be a serial killer. My personal opinion is that it's definitely a crime of some type of a passion, because this person wanted to kill. You know what I'm saying? Kill, man. And it's justice for these victims, man. It's very fucked up as far as I'm concerned, but they need to be on this shit, right? So if you hear something outside Idaho, lock your doors, get your guns, get the fuck out of Dodge, man. No, for real though, this is some crazy shit, guys. You know, learning that shit, covering this, man. And this is one crazy case, I'll tell you. Justice for Maddie, justice for Kaylee, justice for Ethan, and justice for Xana. I need some more water. So the $1 million question is, when are we gonna find the killer? Who is the killer? Was it targeted? Which way did he walk in? How did he get into this house? Supposed we're looking for a black SUV, supposedly, that was outside of the residence. Nothing was brought up about that. That's the funny thing to me about that. What the person had said in the apartment complex, correct? Like, I don't know, man. We're going off a lot of different he say, she say type of thing. And even though I'm a talking head as well, I'm putting my opinion on it too. But I just it's definitely a tough one, guys. So yeah, I want to thank you guys for joining today's podcast, man. Go ahead and like, subscribe to the videos, and justice for all the victims here. And thank you guys for watching. And until the next time, peace out, y'all.